I'm Danny, and this is the Scream Princess podcast. Hello there, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Scream Princess podcast. And I'm joined today by James Smith and Caroline Spence of Raya Films. How are you both doing?
Hello, we're
Hello.
fine, thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Hello. It feels like a Saturday today. I don't know why. It feels very Saturday. Does it feel Saturday for you?
I never know what day it is. I have to wake up and really think hard about what day it is. But yes, it does. Well, we've just been down, very boring. We've just been walked down to Sainsbury's. At the time when all the kiddies are going to school, so it's definitely didn't feel like a Saturday at that point.
Oh no.
Later in the day, I'll probably forget. James asked me what day it was.
I think we got to that point in our life where it doesn't matter what day it is.
No, it's true. I mean, I've got a paper diary. I'm not a person who can do the whole phone diary thing. And then I feel like recently I haven't really had a lot going on. So I find I don't even look in my diary and then I don't know what day it is. I'm like, well,
Mm.
any day. I've been out today this morning, but I think I was out before the schools were going to schools. I had to go and feed my friend's cats because he's away. And I had enough of murder that was left for me as soon as I entered
Oh,
the door, there was a mouse.
lovely.
Yeah, so it's been a
And they
morning.
normally chew the head off, don't they? Which is very, for
There was an ear, a
horror
part of the
fans,
head
it's
and an
quite.
ear, which was then separate from the rest of the. I don't know if it was a mouse or a shrew. Its nose was missing, so it is now in the
Well,
bin.
this is a horror podcast, isn't it?
Yeah.
It
So,
is a horror podcast. Yeah, I mean, my cats stay indoors, so they can't go out murdering, and
Oh,
I
right.
do will them if there's a spider in here to kill it. Thankfully, I haven't had too many, so this is the thing. When I lived in London, never got spiders. I maybe in 16 years in my flat, I had maybe two inside. And then since I've been here in the Northeast for 2 years, I've had at least five.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, which is five too many for me.
Mhm. Yes, they do. Well, this is the time of year for them as well.
It is.
They do like going a wandering, and for people who are arachnophobic, is my aunt is absolutely terrified of them, and she lives in the depths of Wales, and of course they're inundated with spiders every autumn, and she just can't handle it.
Yeah. I mean, I
She's
feel like
absolutely terrified.
I'm right near the beach and I have seagulls, a family of seagulls that live on my roof. So I don't know why they aren't catching them before they are entering my house. So
Well,
between
it's very
seagulls,
inconsiderate of them.
it
I think
is.
they should,
I mean, I
pay a
go
little
out and
bit
I
more
feed
attention.
them. I go out and I feed them. Maybe I should stop doing that and then they'll eat the spiders instead. I don't know. So where are you guys? Are you down south somewhere?
we're in the Midlands at the moment. My family,
Oh,
or remaining family, live in the Midlands now. So we kind of this is our latest. We're doing a bit of house sitting at the moment.
oh,
In
We
Nottingham.
in Nottingham, yeah. So we do cat sitting, dog sitting, and house sitting generally, plus filmmaking and other things.
that's
Also,
quite cool. That's a cool way to travel the country.
yeah, it is, yeah, and of course we're kind of well, we have to be mobile in this business, as you know. So
Yeah.
we're used to. I mean, it does get a bit ridiculous sometimes because we're moving around so much that sometimes I wake up and I have to try and work out where I am.
Yeah, you don't
Trying
know
to,
what day it is. You don't
especially
know what town you're in,
yeah,
what city you're in.
yeah, just guess. So, and especially if it's dark, you wake up in pitch black. It's really dark where we are in Nottingham at the moment in this particular area. Yeah, when I wake up, I have to think, okay, you're here, and this is what happened yesterday, and this is where you're going. You'll be all right.
It happens. It happens. Well, I've done a bit of a deep dive into your IMDb's and I've learned loads of things that I did not know about you.
Hello.
So, and you should know them because it's on there. You probably read it. But Caroline, I didn't know that you were a presenter as well.
Kind of, kind of.
Kind
We
of.
started. Sorry.
Go on, go on.
No, we started off making documentaries, and we started off actually. We got into this whole film thing through a really bad, one of these really bad housey programs. Well, it was called I Want That House, and it was on ITV, and I got involved um, with the television production company there. They James's mum was an international property guru, and they approached her about doing a couple of programs with her. And she went off and did the one in Mallorca, and and then she suggested me for Tenerife because the realtor in Tenerife did not want to be on camera.
Right.
So that's where that all started. And then we went off and we started making documentaries, and I was writing and presenting them. And yeah, I don't know. I was trying to be David Attenborough at one point, but
I
of
love that.
course, no one else can be David Attenborough.
No, I know. I would love that. That's like a dream career, isn't it? Like travel
Absolutely,
around,
absolutely.
watching
Yeah,
nature.
yeah. But the presenting, has kind of waned off now, of course, since we've moved into feature film. So,
Yes, but you do
but
act as well. So you've acted in some of them. Agent Kelly.
ah, yes.
Whenever anyone mentions Agent Kelly, we laugh because it was just this crazy film that we just thought, I wish there's no money, we just go run around and shoot it. As what were you, like a spy assassin?
I didn't need to be paid or anything. So.
Well, I was behind the camera and I was even cheaper. So I was doing the camera work and following Caroline looking great in her pants and leather jacket and being the
Not
assassin.
it was in American, not in English.
Yeah. Anyway, we got some nice actors to help us out, and they sort of were the bad guys and good guys. We
Amazing.
pieced this thing together, and at the end of it, I thought this is just a load of shit.
Yeah, but did you have fun making
Which,
it? I think the thing
yeah,
about
we
independent
had great
film,
fun.
thing about
Yeah,
independent film is none of us are ever going to get rich. So you have to enjoy making it. You have to get something out of it. We have to have fun. And that was, did you shoot a lot of that guerrilla and you just literally went out there, went on a road
yeah.
trip
It
and
was,
just,
yeah. I mean, the good thing about it was that we learned a lot about shooting out in the street and
yeah.
being safe and quick and safe and getting some decent material.
Do you mean being
Which
quick before
we
someone tells you off?
Yes, right. Yeah, or before. Yeah, you got, if you're shooting in a real location, you've got to try and make sure that you don't attract too much attention from people who are going to get in the shot and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. It's not just a safety thing. It's kind of. But we learnt a lot about that. And but when we the funny thing was when we pieced this thing together, we thought it was a load of rubbish, and some people still think it is a load of rubbish if you look at the comments. But it's really popular. A lot of people really like the film, and you can watch it free on YouTube. And it's just a sort of part of our story about how we learnt about this crazy business.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I think we all like our first kind of projects that we produce or we write or direct, like it's a massive learning curve. I think you probably learn the most on that one than you do
Mm.
like for any of the others because it's like you learn what not to do and you learn what went well and you kind of learn that you actually can do it when you might
Yeah,
not
you
have
know what?
thought
I
you could.
think even some big cinematographers and producers and people like that have not been through this process. And the
Hmm.
problem, especially nowadays, where things are a lot more affordable to shoot. Sorry, they kind of don't know how to sort of downsize their production. So
Hmm.
they're always looking to close off the street or get loads of extras in and things like that. And so they're kind of old-fashioned, some of them in that sense, and that you can shoot safe and carefully out on the street,
Hmm.
but you have to look at the budget and cut it down
Yeah.
and just be quick as well, quick
Yeah.
and good.
And I think a lot of them, you know, they want to get these big budgets, so they have to add all of these things. Otherwise, people will stop giving them the big budgets if they can, if they can do it cheaper.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
lose
Yeah.
some of their funding. And so I'm going to my notes now. So, Wild Spirits, James, you're a bit of a daredevil, but
Oh
this
yeah,
but
that's a blast
was
from the
this
past.
like a reality thing? Was this like a presenting thing, or is this like a scripted? Because I've got windsurfing, songwriting, guitarist is your character.
Right. Oh, you didn't warn me about this, did you?
No, no, I know because you thought this was going to be about horror, but I actually feel like being a daredevil for me would be horror. Like I would be terrified of doing anything like stunts in the sea. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
tell me about Wild Spirits.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's interesting, isn't it? This was when I had hair, which was a long time ago. Um, what I look like now.
Yes, okay, because you're too tall for the camera, so no one
Yeah,
knows.
I kind of good at cropping, aren't I? But Yes, I spent about a quarter of a century, believe it or not. This is how old I am. On the beach windsurfing in various places around Europe and the world, and just being a surf bum. And this was an escape for me from office life, which I didn't really like too much.
You grew up in the
And
States and
during this
in
time, I met Caroline,
South Africa.
and I was basically a ski surf bum, and I was working in the computer business and using all of that money very irresponsibly by just buying new boards and equipment and traveling around and so anyway, I was also playing the guitar and recording some music and that kind of stuff. Like a lot of guys get into bands, surfers and do this kind of thing. And yeah, it's just developed from there. And then I somehow got hooked into this, probably through Mother again, wasn't it? I got hooked into this Wild Spirit Sky TV program where they were interested in the windsurfing surfer guitar angle. And we did this film, which I must dig out. It's on VHS tape in the loft somewhere.
Oh, you can get them
And
converted. You should get it converted.
yeah, you probably won't recognize me. Well, I'll get it converted, and then we can all have a good laugh at it. But yeah, I mean, I had like people sort of looking at us a little bit older in the film industry doing all of this stuff, but we both had like a different life, didn't we? Really? So,
Yeah,
and that was
We've
mine.
had a past life.
you've had a past life. And Caroline, I've got, and this is even scarier, Sharks Saved My Life.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
So I've watched Jaws, and I do live right next to the beach, and I will get in the sea like a little bit, but generally sharks like have put me off being in the sea, even in England, because they can swim, right? They can come from wherever if they really want to. But tell me the story about Sharks Saved My Life.
Um, well, Jaws is one of my all-time favorite films. I absolutely love it.
Yes.
I've
Did
seen
you
it
go and
so
see
many
that? Did you go and
times.
see it the other week for the 50th anniversary?
No, I haven't seen it. It's on where we are. It's on big television here. Might have to dig it out. It
No,
keeps
it's
coming
back
up
in
when we're
this. Been back
scrolling
in the
through the
cinema the
movies.
past couple of weeks. So I actually went to see it in the cinema last week, like
Oh
on a
wow.
giant screen.
Brilliant.
You know what? I didn't even see. This is how
Yeah,
sad we are.
it
We've
might
been
still
so
be on.
busy
It was
doing our own
literally
stuff.
last week. It might still be on. Have a look. It's worth going.
Ah, right. Yeah, so anyway, so I first watched Jaws when I was like 14. It was on television. I was too young to see it in the cinema. So that got me absolutely fascinated in sharks, and I started researching sharks and realizing that they are the most incredible animals, and they are so important to our oceans and to just the health of the oceans and just generally life as we know it. So I'm an advocate for shark conservation, and yeah, so I started diving. I for 10 years I was a sports diver, and I went and I specifically started a trained to be a sports diver because I wanted to see sharks. So I spent 10 years diving off the Jurassic coast in Dorset and seeing nothing. In the end, I thought, right, the Red Sea. I'm going to the Red Sea,
Uh-huh.
so I took myself off there a couple of times, saw sharks, and the second, no, I was never scared. The second time I went, it was southern Egypt, and it was camping, and it was normally you'd walk out from the beach into the water, and just like it was lovely, and just be able to scuba dive from there. But on this occasion, we went out on a boat to a reef called Elphinstone Reef, and it was the big boss of the company was there, so. Everybody was jumping up and down wanting to impress him. So off we went to Elphinstone, which is famous for sharks. So I thought, oh, this is exciting. And the thing is, I'd only ever been down 30 meters, and and I was trained very almost military style. I had to know exactly what depth we were planning to go down to. So I asked my dive buddy, who was actually the dive leader of the whole trip. So how deep are we going? I said, I don't like going deeper than 30 meters. He said, oh yes, 30 meters. Yes, that's what we're doing. So in the water we go, and it's strong current down to the reef. I'm heaving on just out of breath by the time we get to the reef. And I looked at my depth gauge, and we were like 40 odd meters. At which point I started really panicking because I couldn't breathe, and I was like my air was running out. And then I thought, and I literally And I remember I literally looked at the surface and thought, I can get up to the surface. I'm going to go to the surface. I need to go now,
Mm.
which would have killed me
Hmm.
had I done that. And but then I saw these sharks, and they were huge, big sharks. They were just swimming around, and it was incredible. It totally took my mind off of shooting to
Wow.
the surface, and I was never scared. They were curious. They came and had a look, and then went away again. But the trouble is, I used up all my air,
And then you had to
so I
go
had
up
to
to the top.
I had to buddy breathe with the guy
Mm.
all the way up using his spare tank because thank God he had one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made it because you have to decompress and take a long time to
Hmm.
get back up to the surface. So that's why sharks saved my life,
God. I think I would have
and I'm
just died of
eternally
fright,
grateful.
literally. The shark wouldn't have had to have eaten me. I'd have just died of fright.
They wouldn't. Not interested. You're not their food type. They
No,
won't eat you.
that's what they say. I
I
think
know.
because
I've
I
been
watched
researched.
Jaws when I was quite young. I think I must have been about 8, and I do find them fascinating. But I'm just like, yeah, the sea is not for me.
No, it is. I can understand. I stopped diving after that.
Did you?
I went on a couple of dives after that, but I was never comfortable again.
No,
So
but that
that's
was
it.
maybe less about the shark and more about the kind of the depth.
Totally.
And,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure it's amazing. But then saying that, I'm not really one for like. I wouldn't even want to snorkel. Just I feel like I drown. I'm not like the world's best swimmer,
Oh,
so
yeah.
not
It's not for everyone.
not for everyone. But I think it's great if people will do. I mean, it does when you watch, documentaries and things. It's like another world under the water. So, do you dive as
It
well,
is.
James? As
No, no,
no,
I was listening interestingly about that because I've seen sharks and various wildlife out there, and flying fish, they're good to watch, but I tend to stay on the surface like you, Danny.
yeah,
I'm not worried about, I don't know, it's just, I've been quite far out to sea on a windsurf, in the Canary
uh,
Islands and things like that. And you sort of, the way the swell gets really big and you realize the enormity of it when the further
mm,
you go out. And then when I fall in, sometimes you have to get back up. I'm thinking I've got my little legs dangling in the water while I'm trying to get back on the board. And then
yeah,
so it's sort of a psychological thing. Most of the time they just like leave you alone, and they
yeah,
might bump you, the sharks, to find out what you might be or what you might
mm,
taste like. But
yeah.
most of the
Have a
most of the
nibble.
time they'll leave you alone.
I heard that you're not meant to wear yellow. They like yellow. Is that a myth? Is that just a?
Don't know. I haven't heard that.
I read that somewhere.
Um, I had heard that yeah, certain colours they respond to in different ways
Yeah,
and sounds as well. But yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, we're too crunchy for sharks, really, aren't we?
yeah.
Because sometimes they bite you just to test you.
Just
Yeah,
to see.
that's
Yeah,
right. Yeah, because I mean, the great whites, obviously, or the tiger sharks.
yeah.
Well, the great whites mainly they hunt sea lions and seals,
Mm.
so they
So they
think
want like
sometimes
flesh.
that's what
They
we
don't want
are.
bones.
No,
No,
no, we're
no.
too crunchy for them.
Too
Gives them
crunchy.
indigestion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably safe in South Shields. Apparently, we get a lot of dolphins, but I haven't seen any. There's like a dolphin watch thing, and I think you have to be up really early to see them. And I don't know,
Probably.
but I haven't
Yeah,
seen
it's
them.
surprising how much is down there. Even in the Thames, Southend,
Mm,
Southend, and the Southend Pier. We often see seals out
yeah,
at the end of the pier. They're amazing. They
yeah.
pop up, have a look at you, and then wander off.
Well, I grew up in Norfolk, so I think they've got like the biggest seal population or something in the UK in North Norfolk. So I've always been like used to seeing seals at the beach, but never
Yeah, cool.
dolphins. Never dolphins. So how did you
Oh,
two
it's
meet?
seals or sea lions. Sorry to cut you off.
Seals.
Seals.
Seals,
Yeah.
yeah.
Seals. Yeah. How did you both meet?
In a
Um,
pub, I think.
In
we
a
worked at the same company. We work in this big sort of defense company actually, and we both had office jobs, and it was a very male-dominated environment, full of engineers, pretty much. And so, if there were any women in the company, they soon became known. The Caroline was one of these famous rarities, a woman in the company. And so I got to know Caroline. In fact, the first time I saw Caroline, I think was at the harbour, and you
Mm.
were changing into your wetsuit. Don't worry, it was at the final stages of pulling it up and zipping it up. Yeah. So yeah, and then we met in a pub subsequently, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so. And then I used to love dancing. I used to do the modern jive, so rock dancing. I was absolutely obsessed
Oh,
with it.
wow.
And every Christmas, every summer there'd be a white ball in the big pavilion. This is in Bournemouth. And then every winter there'd be the black ball. So you all wear white for the white, black for the black. So anyway, yes, he accosted me there. He
This
followed
is
me there.
this is going to get embarrassing, isn't it?
No, yeah,
This-
no.
yes, that's right. So yeah, it was. Caroline is actually a very good dancer,
Well,
and well, she's a very good dancer, and I was kind of had a go at it, but you thought you said I was good, but I think you're just being polite. I think I'm rubbish, and she's really
But I like a man that's like willing to go to a dance,
yeah.
even if
Mm.
they can't. I used to drag my ex years ago to a swing dance class and he was terrible, but the willingness was there. So,
yeah,
and then
he's been tried.
I swapped him out for one of my gay friends who was a much better dancer.
Oh yeah, yeah. So no, I was always seeking the best dancers.
Yeah,
Much
yeah.
better than me.
So how did, because you obviously both had these office jobs and you had completely different careers. James, you worked for a computer game company. Caroline, you were writing for pieces for newspapers, BBC Wildlife, Cambridge University Press, and then you started a film company. How did that happen?
Um, yeah, how did that happen?
Well,
We started. I was taking doing photography for my mother's business, a Spanish property thing,
Mhm.
and that eventually turned into we got interested in video, didn't we? Really, and then we
yeah,
did the presenting.
yeah. We did the Tenerife thing, and then we thought, oh, let's go and have a go ourselves. And because I was writing and he was the photography side, so we started doing the documentaries
Mhm.
and made quite a number of documentaries, some extreme sports documentaries out in Tenerife and on the south coast of the UK, and then life ones, some ancient, some historical ones.
Mm.
Did quite well. Did
Yeah,
quite well.
it wasn't really big stuff. It was kind of we because a lot of people think well we're this big company when they see our website and stuff. But we actually started doing this homegrown stuff, really, you know. So and I think we were inspired by the television company. We thought, well, we can do a bit of that.
Yeah.
Maybe get the and which we could, because the we're, it was the when the video revolution
Mm.
equipment was getting a lot cheaper, so you could
Mm.
buy cameras to actually match what they called broadcast quality, which is actually rubbish quality now we've learned
Yeah. I mean, and
because
also
the
they used to
resin
have such big cameras, like
yeah
massive equipment, which, you can't get into little gaps and you have to have like these big
yeah
spaces. But, with cameras have got smaller and the technology's gotten better, you can now do so much. You don't need, you know, big
yeah I think that was
equipment.
and that was the sort of turning point for us where we were able to use small cameras like that to
Mm.
have a go. And now it's even better for people, they can make films and any kind of web series, TV programs
Yeah.
and all that. But I think the fundamental requirements, strangely enough, haven't changed too much in terms of filmmaking. You still need a very good script or a TV
Mm.
program. You need a good idea and you need to be able to get to the locations and do the photography and so on. So
Yeah.
yeah, we had a go at various things, and when we finally weaved our way and found our way into feature film development and production because of Caroline's screenwriting. I think that was the turning point. There was we decided, and also we really love movies, so
Mm.
we decided that was something that we could do and that we loved. A TV environment we weren't too happy with, a bit too similar to the corporate
TV
world
feels
from which we
harder
came.
because to do TV, you then need to find a channel to screen your work, or you need to get commissioned or something. Whereas with film, you can do independent film, and especially now where you've got all of these different streaming platforms, you can actually get your film out there to be seen. And I
Yeah,
suppose like with TV as well, a film you've got like a one-off budget to make that one film, whereas TV you're going to need to keep like pulling in money for each episode, and it just gets a bit
yeah.
harder unless you've got that backing of a big production company behind you.
Yeah, I think a lot of people really are watching a lot of TV and they really love it, but it is really hard to get into.
Mm.
And then when you are working in it, it's almost relentlessly hard because they do these series and we've just heard how for actors, isn't it? You have
Mm.
to get up really early for and work really late for weeks and weeks, and
Yeah.
then have a break, and then do the next season or whatever it is, and then
Yeah.
so it's just a
I don't think
relentless.
actors can complain for that though, because a lot of the
No,
time we don't work for long periods of time. So I think they should be grateful when they
It
get
yeah,
the work.
should be.
All they
Yeah.
really need to do is get an evil cat that will have them up at 5 a.m. every day anyway, without
that's a good
fail.
idea.
Yeah, that's what they need to do. And then,
Brilliant.
I mean, I complain in the morning when she gets me up, but then sometimes I think, well, I'm up now and I can do stuff and
Yeah,
I've got more of my day. So
Yeah,
exactly.
that's
Best time of the day. That we're up early as well, so
yeah.
before the sun comes up. But we don't have an evil cat, unfortunately. So
not yet.
But you
not yet.
keep cat sitting and dog sitting
Yeah.
and you know
Mm.
a multitude of cats and dogs to look
So
after.
many dogs and cats, it's unbelievable. I can't forget all their names, but yeah.
Well, the three I was looking after this morning, two of them are from the same litter as my two. So I got a
Uh,
boy and a girl, and my friend took a boy and a girl. And then there was another, he's got another one which we rescued in London, and he's got it. So, but he's away on a conference, so I'm looking after them. And it's like
yeah.
they knew I was coming in this morning because that mouse was right in front
Oh,
of the door.
a little present for you.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
should be grateful.
I'd rather she left it alive and I could have rescued it, but
Yeah, I know. I
you
know.
know,
Oh, it's horrible, isn't it? But
wasn't
there you go. That's
wasn't the
cats.
one.
Cats do this stuff.
Yeah. So what kind of films do you tend to watch? Do you have like a personal kind of taste? Because I tend to watch horror, horror, horror.
Hmm.
Like pretty much solely different kinds of horror, but I tend to kind of stick to horror. But do you watch kind of all kinds of genres? Because you do produce in all kinds of genres as well.
Yeah, we yes, we do tend to watch a whole
Wide
gamut of
spectrum.
different. Yeah, there's a large range of stuff. I mean, we watch stuff from way back in the day, including, some of the early horrors from the
Mm,
30s and 40s.
mm,
They're brilliant. I love those. And then just through every decade, there's films that pop up that are my favourites or that I remember watching when I was a kid. So I'll go back and revisit those.
hmm.
We watch all sorts really. I mean, the only thing I don't I tend to avoid depressing dramas.
Yeah.
Anything that involves animals because I get upset.
Yes, I
And
can't watch things like that.
I'm not very good. I'm a bit of a wimp. I'm not very good with slashers and gore. So
Ah,
my horror tastes are more supernatural, spooky kind of stuff,
supernatural.
or something that's more. We watched what did we watch? Speak No Evil the other day
I
with
haven't seen that one
James
yet.
McAvoy.
Right.
That was brilliant. That was my kind of horror because it was gore was minimal, but the tension was
Ah.
unbelievable. It was very, very brilliantly acted.
Yeah, we've seen a few good ones recently. We saw Psycho the other day as well, didn't we?
Oh yeah, well we've seen it before.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the
Classic,
first time we've seen
classic.
Psycho. Well, I've
I
just
mean, like
watched
the
a film. Somebody had recommended it on a podcast a few weeks ago called Longlegs, and it was
Oh yeah.
directed by Osgood Perkins, which
yeah.
is Anthony Perkins' son. But everyone was going on about how good it was, and I was like, "This is rubbish." I just really didn't like it. But then I watched his next film, The Monkey, and then I really liked that one. It
Oh,
was
I've
like
seen that
Oh
one.
completely
Yeah,
yeah.
different. So The Monkey it was kind of gory, but it was kind of comedy, like
it
when
was funny.
the
Yeah.
deaths are, funny, which I quite like. I like a good death scene, but I like them to be kind of funny and not,
Mm.
Yeah.
too
Oh, I'll have to watch that. I've seen
serious.
long. I watched Longlegs,
What did you think?
and I wasn't too impressed.
No.
I thought, what's all the fuss about? So I thought I'll go back and try and watch it again. Um, but I didn't get through it. So
Well, I like the
yeah.
last 15 minutes was good, like stuff was happening, but I think it was so slow burning that it was
Mm.
just not, it was kind of pointless for the most part. I don't know. Welcome back to the Screen Princess podcast. We actually timed that perfectly. Literally, second I cancelled the session, the doorbell rang and it was a postman. So
Well done. That's
yeah,
brilliant.
perfect timing,
Very
perfect
impressed.
timing. So I work with a photographer in London and he always orders costumes and things for our next shoot. And he sent me a message the other day and it was, one of those sites that's pretty much too good to be true. It was like £20 but the outfit looks incredible. And he was like, I'm just going to order one just to see what we get. And I've just opened it and it looks nothing like what it's supposed to look
Oh
like.
no.
And it's the fabric, it's, you know, that fabric that, you know, really cheap old Halloween costumes are made from that go up in flames very easily. It looks
Oh
like
my
it's made out
God.
of that. So I'm going to try it on after this and send him a picture just for the laughs, I think. But
Hmm.
needless to
No.
say, I don't think we'll be using that one.
You win some, you lose some.
You do, you do. So where were we? We were on to Raya Films and the beginning of Raya Films. So you started the film company and you're award winning already. How long has the film company been going?
Mm.
How long was what?
Have the film company been going?
I keep having this thing a decade. It's a nice tidy number, 10 years. I
10
think,
years.
yeah, we kind of started with this. Our feature debut was Do Something Jake, which was like a thriller, wasn't it? Drama thriller.
Drama thriller.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I was saying the other day that we kind of we're still trying to top that really because we had a really good premiere in the
Mm.
Odeon, and we were kind of just learning. You know, we're always learning, but it was our first stab at doing a proper feature film and getting it out there on the
Hmm.
big screen. We had a fantastic premiere, packed out, and I think we got the taste for it there, the buzz of
Oh yeah.
and we've you know, so since then up to now, we've been kind of navigating our way through how we can improve what we do.
Mm.
And I think sometimes I think we've got better at what we're doing. So, you know, and to be honest, sometimes we've got a bit worse as well. We kind of, if there's a graph, we like to think that the ups and downs are here, but it's generally going up.
But how do you decide what your next film's going to be? Because obviously you've done your thrillers and then you've done some horror and then you've gone into comedy with Best Geezer. So do you kind of sit together and say, do you know what? I fancy doing a horror, and then you like agree on it? Or, you know, how do, because, you know, people that do horror, you kind of know, or just horror, that you know what they're going to do. But yeah, how do you decide what you want to do next?
Yeah, it's a difficult one because we have so many ideas. Just we have so many completed screenplays and so many ideas and treatments jotted down. It's
Mm.
I don't know how we decide. We just think what I don't know. It's how do we decide? Do you have any clue? Because I don't know. They just happen.
I think yeah, well, we kind of I was saying on another podcast the other day that we do actually are hopefully getting better at looking at the market and
Mm.
thinking, well, what do people, what does the market want? You know, what do people
Hmm.
want to see? So I think years ago we were just so much into thrillers that we were just like trying to reproduce maybe some of those 90s kind of thrillers that we love, Gene Hackman type stuff, you know,
Hmm.
all that. But as we've gone forward, we tend to look more at what, you know, without having big stars in our films, what people are attracted to and what might be radical enough to punch through. And we're
Hmm.
still doing that really, as we're, you know, we don't feel like we have to do any kind of one sort of film like a slasher
Hmm.
or horror or a, you know, a found footage thing or anything like that. We're willing to try anything, and even a drama. I'm quite keen on sort of thriller drama kind of
Yeah.
genre. Caroline isn't so keen on it. We'll have these discussions, and then she'll decide eventually what we get.
Yeah. Do you have any input into the scripts then, or is it just all Caroline?
Oh,
Um,
yeah, he's all over
well, I'm the one that's
Breathing down her
I'm the
neck while
one.
she's trying
He's
to
the
do her work.
ideas man.
Well, it's kind of like again, it's a case of what's practical. So I come in and sort of have a look at what I'm able to implement. You know, considering I'll be probably doing the camera work and the editing. You know, and if the screenplay is too ambitious, which often it is, isn't it?
Mhm.
My own fault as well. You know, instead of just doing a scene in a house where two people are talking like this, we end up in a nightclub with 30 people and then
Yeah.
someone jumping over a table and crashing into the bar. You know,
Yeah.
great if you've got $1 million. But so I come along and I had that kind of input, but earlier than that, I also I you know I kind of like to have some kind of creative input into the idea. So
Mm.
so that because we both watch a lot of different kinds of films, and then I try and come up with an idea which I think might be different enough
Hmm.
to punch through and to be of interest. And I think
Yeah.
our last couple of films, Daggers In and Cult Night,
Daggers
we're
In was
both,
a murder mystery.
yes, that's
Yeah.
right. I think we're getting closer to doing something that is good, and the execution is good enough, and it's a different enough idea to
Hmm.
punch through. And we continue to do that. We don't just want to sort of dwell on making, the same kind of films. We're ambitious enough to try and, get into the mainstream if we can. If there's
Yeah.
a chance we can do that, and that's what we're after.
Yeah. I love a good murder mystery.
Me
Yeah.
too.
They are
Yeah,
fun. They are fun.
yeah.
I like old people solving crimes. I've realized this is the genre I watch the most on TV. Like I love Murder She Wrote and I really loved
Oh,
Vera and I love Miss Marple. My partner's just like, you just like watching old people solving crimes. I'm like, I do. I do.
well,
Old lady.
I often say to people when I grow up, I want to be Miss Marple. So
Yeah, she's
I'm a big
great. I
fan
mean,
as
she does it
well.
all with the style, her hat. I've actually got a murder mystery company with another actress slash screenwriter who's a friend of mine. We started a murder mystery company in lockdown, and it was like so that people can play their own, basically. So we give them all the scripts and the gameplay and the Q&As and everything. And
Brilliant.
we always had a man as the inspector. And we send them the voice files, and we always had to find a male friend who could record these voice files. And she was like, "Why don't we just have a female inspector, and then you can do them?" And I was like, "That's a very good point." Like, it just didn't occur to either of us that, one of us could have just done the voices. So now we've changed her. She's Miss Agatha Marbles.
Oh, brilliant. I
I
love
do her
Brilliant.
voice. I do her voice in my old lady voice, which I think sounds a bit like the Queen crossed with like some kind of cackly witch, but that's what we've got. That's
Oh,
what
I
we
love
came
it.
up
Yeah.
with.
That's
Brilliant.
really good.
That's
I saw the trailer for the third Knives Out movie the other day,
Yes.
and I was getting excited. I thought, whilst we're here in Nottingham with Netflix, it's going to
Yeah.
be, it's coming on Netflix. I thought, oh, that would be great. And but it's not coming out till December.
Oh, isn't
I don't
it?
know where we'll be in December.
Well, hopefully somewhere with Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
My friend signed me up to his Netflix. Like you can add a person, but one that you are allowed to be in a different house. And because he
Oh,
really wanted me to watch Downton Abbey, and I was going, I won't like it. I don't want to watch
no.
it. And then I watched it. I was hooked, and I binged the whole lot in like a few weeks. But yeah,
Really?
I've still got his Netflix. He still pays for it, so I'm like, that's great.
Brilliant. All
So
right. Yes.
obviously, I've just binge watched Wednesday last week, so I'm glad that I've got his Netflix.
Yes. I haven't seen that.
I don't know
Keep
if
hearing
it's as
about it,
good
and
as
I must have a look.
it's not as good as like the original like Addams Family stuff.
No.
It's different, and I think it's aimed really probably to the sort of teen market, but I still
Yeah.
like it. I still think
Okay.
it's fun.
Which James and I are definitely not.
No, well, I'm also
But we
very
can
not.
still enjoy it.
It's yeah, I mean it's fun. The costume's great. Like it's fun, but it's not, it's not you don't have to think about too much when you're watching
No,
it.
that's
So,
good. Yeah,
yeah.
sometimes I like things to watch that where I don't have
Yeah.
to use my brain.
Yes. No, I do too. Otherwise I just watch it confused for the most part.
Yes.
So obviously, like you did kind of writing and journalism style writing. How did you then like trans transform into screenwriter? Because it's obviously it's a very different
Hmm.
way of
Well,
work.
I once upon a time I wanted to write. I thought I could write a novel, because I read
I
all the
love the
time.
idea of that too.
Yeah, but I found it. I would start to write something, but I would always imagine it as a movie,
Right.
and who would play the roles, and
I love
and
that.
in
You're
the
very
end,
ambitious. It's like I'm going to write a book, but somebody's going to make this into the movie and it's going to star like Julia Roberts or somebody.
that's right. Yeah. But in the end, I don't know. I can't remember why I then segued into screenwriting per se. I suppose it was following the documentary filmmaking,
Mm,
and I thought I'd take my writing passion and start writing screenplays, have a go.
mm,
And at that point, I was just in my element. I just thought, right, this is it. I love doing this, and that was it. So I taught myself. We never went to film school or anything
mm.
like that. It's all self-taught.
Yeah.
So I taught myself screenwriting. I got a book.
Hmm.
I can't remember who it was by.
There's
It's up in the
many.
loft somewhere.
Is it
And
usually Sid Field or the Save the Cat one that everybody?
yes, I haven't read that one. It was.
Oh,
I think it might have been. oh, I don't know. It was a while back anyway. It was quite a long time ago. And so I studied that book, and then I studied films. I watched all sorts of
Mm,
films, and then read screenplays, Hollywood screenplays, and just taught myself that way.
that's
And I just,
amazing.
yeah, I just love it.
So this is going to be a really stupid question, actually, because I was going to say, what's a typical day for you both? But we don't have typical days in this industry. But when you're
Mm.
obviously when you're on set and you're actually making a film, it's different. But when you're not, when it's like downtime and you're kind of doing all of your, how does it go?
It depends what we're working on, I suppose. At the moment, it's Jane. We get up, coffee, have to have coffee,
Hmm.
and and then it's straight to it. James is editing Cult Night, and I'm marketing, and researching and looking
Mm.
at the next screenplay, and
I find
that's
you very
it.
inspiring because you are like
Really
this little
sad.
kind of powerhouse team. Like you do everything. And I like, again, that's another thing with the independent filmmakers, isn't it? Like you learn to do all these different roles. As in the like major budget films, people have one role pretty much and they stick to it and they don't even like it if somebody steps on their toes and like tries to help them. Whereas like James, I know you've been directing and then somebody doesn't turn up to do sound and you're doing sound and then you're cinematography and Caroline, you're writing, you're producing, sometimes you're acting, like, and I'm sure you're doing probably making cups of tea. Like, I always end up catering things if I'm on stuff as
Yeah,
well. I'm like, and I'll do the cooking and I'll do, it's
yeah.
like I think it's very inspiring that you just get up and you organize your days and work really hard towards,
Mm.
what you're doing.
Yeah, I think people like to be involved, so. And when people come onto our set, they kind of can get involved in doing all sorts of things,
Mm,
really. Like the makeup people, often they're very busy in the morning, super busy. But then I don't like, well, they don't want to be just hanging around all day doing
mm.
just tweaking a little bit of makeup and all that. So often they come onto set and they can do the clapper or clapper loading, and they can help with all sorts of things like lighting and just carrying bags or doing more technical stuff, whatever they want, really. So
I'm really
so
bad
I
at the
think,
clapper because I
oh
rub the
yeah,
number off and then I forget what's in there. Where are we now?
do you know what's
Oh yeah.
really really silly about that? I have to sometimes tell people how to do the clapper. As soon as I'm not very good in front of the camera. As soon as I get in the front of the camera, it's like, so I have to get someone else to demonstrate how to do the clapper for my film.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
just can't remember the numbers. I get distracted. I rub the number
yeah,
on
there
and
is a
I don't know what scene
people
we're on.
people
I don't know
who
what take we're on. I don't really
no,
know how I'm
that's
doing
it.
this.
It's crazy, but actually, it's a really useful skill to have. And people who do it well and they get the
Yeah.
timing right, they're worth their weight in gold. Because I know this from being behind the camera. The worst thing you can do is have someone who's too takes too long doing it, because then the
Mm,
camera's rolling and then the actors are getting more twitchy or cold or whatever or
yeah.
getting nervous, and then so they to have a good clapper loader is a really good
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, our day, coming back to our day, I mean, it's a bit bizarre. It depends, as I said, what animals we have to deal with. So sometimes we'll get up and then the cats will be, and then we're Caroline will go and feed the cats sometimes, won't you? And
Mhm.
then I'll yeah, well,
Yeah,
Keep cat,
sometimes some days they
keep
don't
cat
eat.
feeder.
sometimes I do feed the cats, and dogs, but yeah, and then the coffee goes on, and we're straight into work. In the earlier hours of the morning, well, not early hours, it's about 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. We're up and at it, and
Mm,
I think
I'm right.
oh, the sun's just going to. But yeah, I mean, if you love what you do, you will get up early, and it's like
yeah,
that thing. If you're into what you're doing, you should be getting up early, and you don't want to be sort of the worst thing you can do if you don't like your job or whatever is to try. You've got to at least try and find something else that will give you the desire to get up and be
that's
motivated to
true.
do things. Because
Because you only
otherwise,
live once.
yeah,
So, and so do what you love. Find a
yeah,
way to do what you love.
find a way. Yeah,
I mean, we
And
do punctuate the day with eating, of course, and exercise. We do exercise, and
Yeah.
Otherwise we turn into hunchbacks and go blind. So
Yeah.
blinder than we are already.
Yeah, I definitely have to eat, otherwise I'm angry with the world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, we need food.
angry Danny. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we don't want angry guys.
Have you ever thought about doing sequels to any of your films? Is there one of your films where you think, oh, I'd like to kind of, elaborate on that with something else?
What do you
We
think?
always think about sequels. Never thought seriously about them.
Best
We
geezer we did, didn't
we thought seriously about Best Geezer, but that's no, that's never materialized. We thought about redoing Agent Kelly, but making it better.
we? If you're
I'm going to
interested,
watch it
Danny.
on YouTube.
Yeah, if you're interested,
I
it can be
feel
in
like
that one.
actually after this, you're going to get loads more hits. People are going to watch, listen
Yeah,
to this, and then they're going
yeah.
to be.
They can send it. They can tell us just how bad it is.
No, I'm excited
That-
because I think it will be fun.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think we are looking to do another one of those just for fun and just
Mm,
run around the streets doing it. You know, we'd be safe and all that. But
yeah.
I think it's one of the films that was like was it our first female-led film? Was really,
Yes, yeah.
and I think that's one of the things that makes it popular because it's not just a bunch of guys running around doing it, you know, being gangsters, and
Yeah.
there's loads of films like that. There's not that many sort of watchable female-led
Yeah.
thrillers. And it's strange, isn't it? Because we've had this movement to get more of that happening, but when you actually look at it, there aren't that many that in the indie film world, especially, you know, you need more
Yeah.
of them, I think.
I think it's because the people who write those films are men,
Yes.
and
Mm.
Mm.
they don't think
No,
let's
that is so
you know
true. That's so true.
they've had
Yeah, I
females,
mean,
but not always. It's not always the case. Some men would think,
No.
oh, you know what, that's a good idea. Um,
yeah. So I suppose that's a key point of maybe something that we've got in to our advantage is that really, although I do the directing, it's
mm,
Caroline's the boss. So I think we've got that female element does always come through, and
yeah.
yeah, those films, as you say, are often written by men, aren't they?
And it's probably because their influences, the films that they've watched, the thrillers they've watched growing up with the
Yes.
agents and whatever have been men. So it's not, I don't think it's necessarily that they're just writing them as men on purpose. Like they don't want a female-led one. They're just not thinking that it's a
But
thing.
when you think of some of the best, most iconic movies out there, I mean, they're all female led. Well, not all, but a lot of them are, like Alien, the Alien franchise.
Yeah.
Was it Scream?
Yes.
So and Silence of the Lambs, and films like that
Yeah.
that have really stuck in become pop culture with film fans and
Hmm.
in cult, in general life as well.
Well, Halloween,
Um,
I know Halloween, you've got
Halloween,
Michael Myers, but
exactly.
it's very much about Laurie.
Yes, yes, exactly. So, they're out there and they sell, and they win
Yeah.
Oscars, and
Yes.
so yeah, we need more women in film, and then more of us will get rich.
Yes, I'm waiting for that getting rich bit. One
Yes, same here.
one day it will happen.
Cool.
So, what directors, James, would you say have influenced you?
Um, oh, loads, but I think Tony Scott and his brother Ridley Scott.
They're from South
Um,
Shields. They're from here.
yes, yeah, can you
That's
believe
the
that? And there's so
South and
much.
Catherine Cookson. That's the claim to fame for South Shields.
Right, yeah, and you've got from up in the northeast. I can't do the accent, so I won't bother. But you've got Sting, and you got
Yes,
Mark Knopfler.
yes,
You've got Tony and Ridley Scott. So many great creatives come from that area. So yeah, those two. It's just a dynamic way that they cut together their films, especially Tony Scott. You know,
mm,
because they came from, I believe, an advertising background when it was
yeah,
getting a lot more
mm,
cinematography involved and creative stuff back in the day. And then there's like talking about female directors, Catherine Bigelow did The Hurt Locker and Point
yeah.
Break, and then you've got Sophia,
Right.
was it Point Break? Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Sophia Coppola.
You love that because it's a
Um,
surfy film, don't you?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's right. Well, actually, Caroline, you're more of a fan of film than I am, really, aren't
What,
you?
Point Break?
Yeah, I mean, I love the film, but I think you're the
Yeah.
one that pointed it out
I was
originally.
like,
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
brilliant.
there's so many great directors. I think these days, yeah, I just can't. It's all a muddle in my head. But I think, and then cinematographers, Roger Deakins' usual thing. He's a really nice guy, and he shoots things nice and straight. He doesn't use any really flashy techniques that he doesn't need
No
to do.
wonky lenses, no Dutch tilt,
No, sorry.
no tilted lenses and things.
No, no, that's right. It's quite amazing how much you can learn from people like that. The best people, actually, the directors and the cinematographers, all come back to this same common denominator usually, which is keep it simple. And I try to remember that when I'm doing my funny Dutch tilts and trying to zoom the camera in and out.
So if you dream cast wise for your films, they could be dead or alive, who would you pick for your dream cast?
So many.
I mean, we'd
What?
bring them back from
Dream
the dead.
cast for any film,
Oh,
dead or alive.
yeah. Well, we like so many, don't we?
Mm.
What's that actor's Scott?
Oh, Andrew Scott.
He's up.
He's making waves at the moment. Irish actor. Mark Ruffalo. I love a Mark Ruffalo. Um,
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling can do no wrong. He's so good. They're all men, aren't they? Oh my God.
Yes,
Sandra Bullock. I love Sandra.
yes. I'm so excited for Practical Magic 2
Oh, right. Yes.
coming out
I
next
didn't
year.
know they were doing a second one.
Yeah,
Gosh.
they're filming it at the moment, and the
Oh,
first
wow.
one's one of my favorite films. And I don't usually, it's not horror. It's witchy, but
No,
it's not, but it's one
it's
of my
witchy.
favorite.
Yeah.
It's witchy.
Mm.
But yeah, they're
Yes.
doing a second one.
I don't know. We'll go away and we'll think of a million different people.
I think Mikey Monroe
Oh,
from
yeah.
Longlegs and The Watcher, she's super cool.
Hmm.
It's one of the, there's so many actors like that, like Scarlett Johansson and I don't know, even Lady Gaga and people like that. They just seem to be able to do everything. They can sing,
Yeah,
act, dance, move well. They're
yeah.
athletic, all that kind of stuff.
Lady
So
Gaga
there's just so
appeared in
many.
Wednesday. She's in the Wednesday series.
Who's that? Sorry.
Lady Gaga. She had a
Oh
little.
yeah,
Oh,
She
really?
actually really looks like a Burton character, doesn't she?
She
Like,
does.
like I can imagine her being like a muse for Tim Burton, like easily.
Mm. Yes. Yes.
yeah. She's done a couple of films now that are really impressive. A Star Is Born was it? She
Yeah.
was in that, and
Yeah.
blimey, she did
I
a
mean,
really
for me
spot.
though, The Star is Born's always going to be a Judy Garland film for
Oh,
me.
yeah. Yeah.
But
And there've been so many iterations of that film. But yeah,
yeah,
Judy
Barbara
Garland. I mean,
Streisand did it. Well, yeah,
Barbara Streisand, yeah.
I keep looking on YouTube at some of the songs that Judy sang in that film, and
yeah,
they're just she
yeah,
was class.
Isn't
yeah.
it interesting that great singers, great female singers, often make great actors as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I suppose,
It-
I mean, Judy Garland came from the studio system and she was doing her schoolwork on the MGM lot. So it
Mm.
was like singing, dancing, acting was like their, training. So I suppose,
yeah,
I mean, I think a lot of kind of drama school kids, if they've gone to a performing arts school, they'll have trained in both.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Good point. Yeah.
I'm not sure it worked with Kylie Minogue though, because as much as I
No,
love
it didn't,
her,
bless her.
she's not a great actress.
We all love Kylie, but
Yeah.
yeah, stick to the singing, I think.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
she
I mean,
started, though.
It was how she started, yeah.
well, I know.
She did start.
I thought she was good in Neighbours at the time, and then I've watched old episodes, and then when obviously they were ending, and then they came back again, but they were ending, and she went back, and it was like she only had to deliver one line. I think she literally said Harold, and she didn't deliver it well.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but I mean, my opinion doesn't matter. She won't care.
Mm.
But no, I love Kylie.
Yeah, we all do. We all
Mm.
do. She's lovely. She's a bit like I always think like Marilyn Monroe. Everybody loves Marilyn Monroe, and I
Yes.
don't know. And everybody loves Kylie. I just don't know why. They just seem to
Yeah. I
kind of
mean,
like
what's
you're
not to
just
love?
drawn to them.
Yeah. I think she's like that whole package and she like it's the costume, it's the makeup, it's the just
Mm,
everything, it's like the performance.
yeah.
But yeah. And what is your casting process like? Do you hold like X Factor style auditions? I mean I know because I've seen a lot of the casts on your films tend to be like I mean it's a small world, isn't it? And you go to like the film festivals and I know you've got like Charlie Bond, Eve Oliver, and it's like people that you have bumped into to lots of
Yes.
things. So yeah, how do you do your casting process?
Well, it's varied. It's varied over each project, to be honest. some films like Daggers In, we just went with people we already knew, and we didn't
Hmm.
really audition them. We just saw their work, liked them, and then
Yeah.
cast them. And with Cult Night, it was completely different. We said, right, we're going to go back to in-person auditions and just put an open casting call out, and we
Hmm.
held the auditions in London and brought in new people, new faces, new to us
Yeah.
anyway. And that worked really well. It was nice just to get in the room with the actors and
Yeah.
be able to talk to them properly, face to face, and
Hmm.
go through the lines and some of the movements, and then you can really see who's going to match the character
Yeah.
that you're casting for.
Yeah. I
Yeah, I
think
think
I did a lot of my last one over like Zoom calls. So rather than having them in the room, I did it
Mm.
online, which was quite interesting.
Yes,
Because I always
well,
tend
that
to
works.
cast people that I've worked with before, that I've seen before. So partly because I know that, they're going to turn up and do the job. And
yeah, that's the
you know
main
their
thing, isn't it?
personalities. Yeah, because I mean, you see these things, you like people cast people and then they like ghost them or whatever, like they
Mm.
don't want to work. I don't know. So I've always
Yeah.
done that. But when I moved to the Northeast, like I was shooting something and I thought I actually want to try and get local cast and crew if I can. So I brought Kamal Yildirim up to DOP for me. But other than that, I cast everybody from the Northeast. So it was quite scary. And on the day, I was like, is everyone going to turn up? But everybody did, and it was great.
Brilliant.
But yeah, it's
No,
kind of,
that's good. I mean, I was going to say something and I can't remember what I was going to say, but yeah, just the whole casting process is yeah, that was what I was going to say was as you say, casting people you've either worked before or with before or whatever. It's just as important to us that we like the person and we think
yeah,
we can get on with the person and they're going to have the
yeah,
right attitude and so
yeah.
that's
Because
important.
one bad egg on set can literally
Yeah.
ruin everybody's experience.
Mm,
So I think,
That's really
definitely.
true, actually. Yeah, I think also it's a trust thing, isn't it? When you
mm,
when you meet people and you get to know people, like the Daggers In lot, we'd worked with a lot of them before, and so
mm,
we really knew they'd turn up and they'd be
yeah,
honest as well. That honesty is so important. I mean, I don't know what it is, but sometimes people aren't honest,
yeah.
and they're
And you
always
can
found
tell.
out. We always know when you're lying,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah,
But no, it's we worked with some really great people, but when we in the past we had made some terrible mistakes in casting,
mm,
and we've had to let them go and that kind of thing, and then
yeah.
replace them halfway through, which is difficult. But I think
Been
it's you
there.
always have to think about the best for the film, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, best of film and best for everybody else. Because I think as well with indie film, each film you kind of, and I think because everybody's chipping in to do these other little jobs and helping when helping when they're not
Mm.
on camera, they can do other bits and pieces. It becomes like a little film family. I think each film you have that little family for that film, and sort of, and everybody wants to get on and it's nice. But I mean I've done films where I've done a film where I had quite a big budget for a first film and everybody was getting paid and nobody wanted to work that hard. I mean the actors did, but I mean a lot of the crew weren't people we'd picked. Crew were the people that were friends with the investor, so they were just not really that bothered. But then the next
Mhm.
film I did had literally no budget. I could just about afford to feed people and pay for their travel, and the crew members were coming up to me saying like, this is the best film they've ever worked on. They've really enjoyed the experience. And it's just because everybody wanted to be there and everybody was in it for the same reason, and they worked really hard. But I think if you work very hard, you can enjoy it.
Yes, I think it's so important to have a good atmosphere on set. We've had that where people the film is wrapped and then everyone wants to come back and do some more.
Yeah, yeah. Do a
Then we have
sequel,
to
do a
leave.
sequel.
Yeah, you got any more scenes? But then we have to edit the film and go on to the next one. So it's kind of almost sad when you have to wrap the film up sometimes for us because you've had your little family, as you say, and then they've all got to go their separate ways. But
Yeah. And then for
and
you, the
also,
hard work really begins because you've got to do the edit.
yeah, it's really tough that I've
And
just come
Caroline
to the
can have
end
a
of.
little bit of a break.
Yeah, well, she'd be writing the next one
Yeah.
then.
Oh, well,
But
true.
but yeah, I mean, I think we've had some really good times, and yeah, it's interesting that if you do a small film, you have a lot more creative freedom, and you
Mm.
can get that family. Everyone has a say, and they kind of have more involved. And because I've often had people working on bigger films that want to work with us, big,
Mm.
really big films, and they want to, oh, if you've ever got any opportunities, then I'd love to work on one of your smaller productions because you always
Yeah.
seem to have so much fun. But they probably don't know the reality of how difficult it is to produce a film like this, down here in the coalface of indie film.
Mm.
So whether they would then turn up and then expect a big catering caravan and a
Yeah.
limousine and then a helicopter back to
Yeah.
wherever.
Where's the tea tea hut? It's like the
Yeah,
kettle.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
in that shed over there.
Yeah. There might be sugar, there might not.
Yes, I know. We didn't get any milk, sorry.
Yeah, I think as long as there's tea and coffee and snacks, no, like nobody can work if they're hungry because everybody's
No,
Yeah,
grumpy.
good
I
point.
think as long
Yeah.
as
food
people are
food is the
fed,
most important thing.
as long as people are fed, they're generally happy to do a lot of stuff. I think
Exactly.
that's
No,
what
we
I've
always
learned.
make sure people are well fed and watered.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And healthy stuff as well, not just pizzas. I
yeah,
mean, we have pizzas, but other
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I mean, I would never complain about pizza, but
No, no.
yeah.
Actually, I'm getting hungry thinking about it.
I haven't ordered a pizza for ages, and my boyfriend ordered one the other day when I was out. So I was like, oh, I missed pizza. Can't remember where I
Oh
was.
no.
I don't know why I wouldn't have been here. Or maybe he was at the other house. I don't know. I don't know. He had pizza anyway, and I did not have pizza. So,
That's not on. It's probably you were feeding the other cats, and so it's
yeah.
their fault.
No, it was definitely no, I think he must have been at the other house that night, and that's why. I don't know.
Oh
So what
well,
have you
you have
got
to get your
coming
own
up?
back.
What have you got coming up next?
What we got coming up next? Well,
Do you want to go or
yeah.
shall
Well, we're editing Cult Night, and that's coming close to the end of the first rough edit, and then it's on to the sound design people and get the colouring done and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's still to come. We're waiting for Daggers in to. It's with a sales agent, and they're doing some negotiations with some distributors. So we're waiting for news on that and when it's going to be released. And then we're writing our next film. Well, we're developing our next film, which will be called The Thinker, and that's like a what is it? Spence. We're trying to delve a little bit more into the horror element. We
Right.
haven't been too successful in the past with our horror films. They all end up a little bit tame, I think.
I think it's a psychological horror.
It's like, well, there
Um,
Right.
you
and
go.
yeah, we're working on that. This should be quite different from anything else we've done before. So we're trying to make it a bit more radical, as
Okay.
Caroline says. And yeah, we haven't fully cast it yet. We've got some
Mhm.
good ideas, and so we're going to be maybe doing a little bit of casting, looking for
Exciting.
people to become involved in that. But
Mm.
again, they have to really understand indie film and what
Yeah.
this is we're trying to do. It's quite radical and different and grassroots, but at the same time, we want to increase the quality of certain aspects of what we're doing. So it's quite a challenge, and we're going to hopefully shoot all of that in the winter. And um,
It's always cold when we're shooting.
yeah,
You
I
know
like
what?
it
When
though.
you're
It's good.
doing a horror film, though, I don't know how you feel about writing, Caroline. When I'm writing horror, I like it. I can only write at night, and like when it's sort of dark, like sort of artificially lit. And I do like to write when it's cold or raining outside. I don't know. It
Oh,
just puts me
yes.
more in that mood. It sets
Yeah,
the
definitely.
scene.
Totally. I'm totally with you on that. I mean, I'm not so much, by the time it gets dark, I'm knackered. So until my brain will close down. But certainly when it's raining, when there's a
Yeah.
good gloom outside,
Well, it's
for
okay in the
some
winter.
reason
It's
I get
dark by three
inspired.
o'clock, so you can start writing like
Yes.
three.
Yeah,
Then it's
totally.
okay.
Yeah. Uh,
But yeah, I think shooting like something that's very psychological is kind
mm.
of works better when it's cold. I don't know why.
Yes, well, we like to try and avoid sunshine
Yes.
because sunshine is a killer, and we're trying to create gloomy,
Mm.
atmospheric kind of
Yeah. When
scenarios,
in England, you
creepy.
don't really need to create it if you shoot in the winter. It's there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's, what we try and do is shoot when the sun's not coming in and out.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get those days when it's like going in
Yeah.
and out, and
Yeah. And then you're
that's the killer.
overexposed and then it's dark and then
Yeah.
yeah.
So we're going to just have to do more at night, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
yeah.
This is the thing, you're gonna have to stay up then, Caroline.
Mm.
Yes, I know. I'm such a wimp. So
I
I like
struggle.
getting up
I'm usually in
early,
my
but going to bed early,
yeah,
late
I'm in
is
my
harder.
pajamas by like 6:30. I'm like, well, it's 6:30. I think it's time for makeup off, pajamas on, and then that's me done. Like I'll be in bed by 9. So
We're
and
very similar
night
then.
shoots are a struggle. I think they're
We
fine when
have a
you're
lot in
very young.
common.
Yeah. Well, thank you both so much for coming on the show. And I think people will definitely learn different things about you that they wouldn't have thought they'd have learned from this podcast.
No.
So
Hopefully good things.
no, because I think it's fun. And
Oh,
that's the whole point. It's to learn who the people are behind, that,
mm,
behind what you
yeah.
see. So
Yeah,
Well, thank you for
yeah,
inviting us. We feel very
very
honoured
welcome.
yes, and
to be.
we've learned a bit about Danny as well, haven't we? Cat and pizzas and boyfriends, things like that.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Enjoy your weekend.
And you.
Thank you.
May it be nice and spooky and atmospheric for you.
Hopefully. It's actually sunny outside, so I think I'm actually going to
Yeah,
go
I
to the
know. As you
beach.
can see, the glare.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to take the jumper off and walk to the beach.
Yes.
Brilliant.
I'll see you soon.
See you
Thank
soon.
you, Danny. Bye bye.